Australia may have one of the most haunted houses in the world, but it's only one of the many real places where history and ghost stories seem impossible to separate. From centuries-old castles to abandoned mansions and homes connected to tragic events, these locations have earned reputations that continue to attract believers, skeptics, and paranormal investigators. Here are some of the most famously haunted places around the world. Number 20. Rainham Hall, Norfolk, England. Built in 1619 for Sir Roger Townshend, Rainham Hall has been connected to the Townshend family for centuries. Its most famous legend is the Brown Lady, usually identified as Lady Dorothy Walpole. A reported sighting from 1835 described a woman dressed in brown with strangely hollow-looking eyes. But the story became truly famous in 1936 when photographers working for Country Life captured an image on the staircase that appeared to show a mysterious figure. The photograph became one of the most famous alleged ghost images ever taken. Number 19. Franklin Castle, Ohio. Built between 1881 and 1883 for German immigrant Hans Tiedemann, this enormous Victorian mansion has often been called one of Ohio's most haunted houses. The property's dark reputation is partly connected to real family tragedies. Hans and his wife Louise reportedly lost several children, and Louise died in 1895. Other stories, including murder rumors, have been challenged by historians. Still, visitors have reported footsteps, voices, moving objects, cold spots, and shadowy figures inside the building. Those stories have helped keep Franklin Castle's mysterious reputation alive. Number 17. The Belmez Faces, Spain. Imagine looking down at your kitchen floor and suddenly seeing a human face staring back at you. That is reportedly what happened to Maria Gomez Camara in August 1971. After a strange face appeared on the concrete floor, her husband destroyed the section and replaced it. But about a week later, another face reportedly appeared. More images followed, eventually turning the home into a major local mystery. Skeptics have suggested that paint, chemicals, or other explanations could have created the images, but the strange faces remain one of Spain's most famous unexplained phenomena. Number 16. Glamis Castle, Scotland. Glamis Castle has royal connections, historical importance, and plenty of dark legends. The site has been associated with the Earls of Strathmore and Kinghorn since the 14th century. Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, grew up there, and Princess Margaret was born at the castle. Shakespeare also helped give Glamis an ominous reputation by connecting the name with Macbeth. But the castle has its own ghost stories too. Local tradition tells of a gray lady haunting the chapel, while another legend describes Earl Beardy gambling with the devil. Then there is the mysterious monster of Glamis, a story involving hidden rooms, family secrecy, and generations of speculation. Number 15. The Old Liu Family Mansion, Taiwan. Completed in 1929 for merchant Liu Chengyu, this red brick Baroque-style mansion eventually became surrounded by disturbing local legends. According to one story, the owner had an affair with a maid who later drowned herself in the mansion's well after allegedly being mistreated by his wife. Afterward, people claim to hear voices inside the house and see strange activity around the property. Another story connects the mansion with Japanese soldiers who were supposedly stationed there. According to the legend, one soldier fired at a mysterious figure, panic followed, and the entire group supposedly died. Number 14. Casa Matusita, Lima, Peru. This building has become the center of several disturbing legends. One story claims that a woman accused of witchcraft cursed the property before her death. Other tales describe voices, screams, whispers, and unexplained events inside the building. Some versions of the legend even involve murder and poisoning. The stories have become so extreme that some people claim spending time inside the property can cause visitors to experience terrifying visions or lose control. Whether any of these stories are true remains uncertain, but the legend has made Casa Matusita one of Lima's most famous haunted locations. Number 13. The Ancient Ram Inn, England. Once a busy pub in Gloucestershire, the Ancient Ram Inn is now famous for a very different reason. According to reports, as many as 20 ghosts are said to haunt the building. The infamous Bishop's Room has become particularly associated with paranormal activity. Legends surrounding the inn also mention witches, an incubus, and unexplained events that have frightened visitors for years. For people searching for paranormal experiences, simply walking through the entrance can feel like making a very questionable decision. Number 11. Château de Brazé, France. This enormous castle has 7 floors and more than 200 rooms, providing plenty of space for legends to hide. According to the castle's official history, nobleman Jacques de Brazé killed his wife, Charlotte, and one of her companions after discovering them together. Stories say her ghost remained behind. One legend describes a figure known as the Green Lady, supposedly seen moving through the castle wearing a green dress. Some versions of the story describe a terrifying corpse-like face and strange moans echoing through the castle before dawn. Number 10. Rose Hall, Jamaica. This restored 18th century mansion is famous for the legend of the White Witch. According to the story, Annie Palmer was responsible for the deaths of 3 husbands before eventually dying herself. Her spirit is said to remain connected to Rose Hall. However, historians have pointed out that much of the modern tour narrative comes from H.G. de Lizer's 1929 novel, The White Witch of Rose Hall. So, while the legend is powerful, its historical accuracy is much more complicated. Number 9. Chaonei Number 81, Beijing. This old 3-story mansion became the center of one of Beijing's most famous urban legends. Stories surrounding the building include a British priest who supposedly disappeared, a woman who allegedly took her own life, and unexplained screams coming from the abandoned property. Other rumors involve disappearances and mysterious events. The building became even more famous after the 2014 horror movie The House That Never Dies brought renewed attention to its legend. Number 8. Winchester Mystery House, California. Sarah Winchester purchased a farmhouse near San Jose in 1886 and spent decades transforming it into an extraordinary mansion. By the time she died in 1922, 36 years of construction had produced 160 rooms, 2,000 doors, 10,000 windows, 47 staircases, and 47 fireplaces. One famous legend claims a medium told Sarah she was being haunted by spirits connected to Winchester rifles. Another version says the strange architecture was designed to confuse ghosts. Historians have challenged these stories, suggesting Sarah simply enjoyed constantly expanding and redesigning the house. Yet visitors still report footsteps, whispers, cold spots, and the unsettling feeling that someone or something is watching them. Number 6. Bangar Fort, India. Bangar Fort in Rajasthan is surrounded by 2 major curse legends. One story says a holy man named Baba Balu Nath allowed the fort to be built only if its structures never became tall enough to cast a shadow over his home. Another legend tells of a wizard who attempted to use a love potion on Princess Ratnavati. She discovered the trick and supposedly turned the potion against him, causing his death. His dying curse was then said to doom the city. Today, stories of strange sounds and supernatural experiences continue to surround the ruins, and entry is prohibited before sunrise and after sunset. Number 5. Borley Rectory, England. The building itself is gone, but its reputation remains. Built in 1862 as a clergy house in Essex, Borley Rectory was reportedly damaged by fire in 1939 and demolished in 1944. It became famous after paranormal investigator Harry Price labeled it England's most haunted house. Stories included unexplained footsteps, a mysterious nun, a phantom coach, ringing bells, lights appearing in dark windows, and objects seemingly thrown by unseen forces. Later, critics accused Price of exaggerating his claims, and expert opinion remains divided. Number 4. Hauska Castle, Czech Republic. Most castles are built to keep enemies outside. Hauska Castle became famous for the opposite idea, that it was supposedly built to keep something inside. The 13th century castle has unusual features, including a chapel positioned above a mysterious opening in the rock. Folklore claims that the opening was a gateway to hell, with strange creatures supposedly emerging from it. One disturbing legend tells of a condemned prisoner lowered into the pit, who supposedly aged decades in only a short time. With its eerie chapel and strange stories, Hauska feels less like an ordinary fortress, and more like a lid covering something nobody wants to uncover. Number 3. Villisca Axe Murder House, Iowa. Some haunted houses need no supernatural story at all. In June 1912, Josiah and Sarah Moore, their 4 children, and 2 visiting girls were reported murdered inside this Iowa home. The case remains unsolved. The house was later restored to resemble the crime scene, and eventually became a destination for tours and overnight stays. Visitors have reported footsteps, unexplained voices, strange fog, electronic voice phenomena, and sudden feelings of fear or sadness. Regardless of whether someone believes in ghosts, the tragedy that happened there is enough to make the atmosphere deeply disturbing. Number 3. Leap Castle, Ireland. Leap Castle is known for an enormous collection of ghost stories. The castle has been associated with the O'Carroll clan and its violent history. One of its darkest legends involves the Bloody Chapel, where one brother allegedly killed another during Mass. Other stories describe the Red Lady, a frightening elemental creature, and spirits said to move through the castle. There are also tales of child ghosts and mysterious figures appearing inside. With so many legends connected to one building, it is easy to understand why Leap Castle continues to attract paranormal investigators. Number 2. Monte Cristo Homestead, Australia. And now we reach the house often described as Australia's most haunted. Located in New South Wales, Monte Cristo Homestead became a grand Victorian residence in the late 19th century. Over the years, visitors and paranormal investigators have reported an extraordinary list of experiences. These include bright lights appearing inside a house without electricity, footsteps on an upstairs balcony, a woman dressed in white, invisible hands touching people, and a male figure appearing near a child's bed. Other stories involve a medium allegedly being struck,
a young girl experiencing asthma attacks despite having no medical history, and people losing sleep because of strange sensations inside the property. Local legends also connect the haunting to several tragedies, including the alleged death of a pregnant maid, a stable boy who reportedly suffered severe burns, and the death of a young girl named Magdalena after she supposedly fell down the stairs. Number 1. The Lalaurie Mansion, Louisiana. At the top of the list is one of New Orleans' most infamous locations. In April 1834, a fire at Delphine Lalaurie's mansion exposed enslaved people who had reportedly been subjected to horrific abuse and living conditions. Lalaurie reportedly fled as an angry mob attacked the property. The building now associated with the legend is actually a rebuilt successor rather than the exact structure she occupied. But the dark history remains. Local stories claim that strange moans, screams, footsteps, apparitions, and unexplained events can still be experienced around the mansion. And in this case, the real history is already horrifying enough. The ghost stories only make the legend even darker. So, if someone offered you the keys to a beautiful old mansion for free, what would be the one